the reading. It's also useful in the listening, if you think about it. So I'll talk today about that. I'll start the recording now. We're live on YouTube, but we're also going to start the recording to the SET portal. So here we go. Okay, so this is OET reading. It's part B. We'll start off with a quick review from yesterday, and then we will. We're going to talk actually about simplifying the question in the review, and then, guys, we're going to practice 3 questions in groups. Okay, so I want to make sure. Can everyone see my screen here? Can everyone see this? You see everything moving up and down?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so starting with a review, then simplifying the question. We're going to talk about that just quickly. I'll give you some advice and tips and then practice. Andrea, could we start off with you, please?
Yes, hello.
So Andrea, let's just review yesterday. Yesterday's class, we talked about the format of the test. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
So how many questions are there?
6 questions.
How much time do we have?
We have 45 minutes for B and C.
Good.
Approximately 2 minutes.
Approximately what?
2 minutes per question.
Okay, good. 2 minutes per question. And guys, it's always multiple choice, right? So how many choices, everyone? How many choices are there? Reading part. Always 3 choices. A, B, and C. What kind of text will we see? Alexia, Adnaya, everyone. Short text.
Short text.
Email.
Memos.
All
Protocols.
things like this. We're just reviewing. We did this yesterday. Okay, so 6 questions, 45 minutes, 2 minutes per question, 3 choices, short texts always. You're going to get an email or a memo or a protocol. What are they testing us on? What type of reading? Anyone?
Main idea.
Main idea.
Yes. Plural, I think,
Yes.
right? So in your paragraph, you're going to have, in your text, your memo or email, there will be maybe 3 or 4 main ideas, and you have to kind of match those main ideas to the question. Okay. So this is what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the format. Does anyone have any questions about format of the test? I'm not going to spend very long on this today. Anyone, any questions or worries? If you've got the exam tomorrow or anything like that? All right, fantastic. Well, we also yesterday spoke about technique, didn't we? And I want to go into more detail today on simplifying the question. So let's just quickly review the technique. Step 1, we read the, everyone?
Question
stem.
And stem is like brain stem, right? What is a stem?
Is the root.
Root, yeah? So just the beginning part of the question, right? The first bit. We don't read the choices at the start. Okay, Babukar, Ambreen, can you say hello? Bayan. What do we do next?
Hello.
Just from yesterday.
We can choose the keywords.
Simplified.
You select the keywords. Yeah, keywords, no, not at this stage, because you're not going to get the answer with keywords early on. Okay, that's reading A. It's very important, this. Okay. Can anyone help her?
Simplified.
And today we're going to talk more about this, and I'll give you some advice and tips. Next step. What's the next step?
Read the text.
Read, Andrea, think.
Think
about the question.
Simple
About the
question.
question.
Right? So you're reading the text with a simple question in mind. It's much better technique than anything else, really. So read the question stem, simplify if needed, read and think about simple questions. So read text. What do we do next, please? Babukar, Alexia, Wasana, Kanku, Vandana, those 5 people. What do we do next?
Then you eliminate.
Yeah, and what does eliminate mean? Alexia, could you put your microphone on, Alexia?
Yes, it was me that said
Oh,
it.
sorry. Fatima then. Fatima, can you come with Alexia and Florence as well? What does eliminate mean?
Remove.
Yeah, and how many?
Remove unnecessary.
Now this is part B, so how many should we remove?
Only one.
One.
Right? You can normally remove, sometimes you can remove two, that's great, but usually there's one you can remove, and then there's two where you can't decide. It's like 50-50, right? So just try to remove one. We're trying to be systematic here, right? So you've got like a routine for reading. Read the question stem, simplify if needed, read the text, think about the simple question, eliminate, remove only one. Okay, now I'm down to 50-50. Now you're going to choose, okay? At this stage, if you want to look for keywords, okay, no problem. Look for some keywords now. If you want to check, right? But don't do that at the start. This is a main idea reading test. So you cannot just get the answers just from specific words, okay? So this is the kind of routine, the technique. Today, as I said, I'm going quite fast because I want to just focus down on one of these things only, okay? And I've said it many times already. We're going to be talking about this step, okay? The step of simplifying the question. And I'll slow down now. I'm going to slow this class down now. And let's talk about this, all right? What is simplifying the question? Can I ask Andrea, could you come back, please?
Yes.
What is that? We've got a picture to help us, but what do we mean by that?
I mean to remove the unnecessary words from the question stem.
Is that right, guys? Removing. Is she right to say remove? What do you all think? Is that a good definition or not?
Yes, it is. It is good.
It's insane, isn't it? Right. And that's what I said yesterday. I want to go into more detail about how we do this now. Okay. And I'm going to do this by, maybe this will be a bit more fun. I don't know if exam classes can really be fun, but look at this. Can everyone see this here?
It's wheat.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's wheat, isn't it? It's
Right,
wheat.
wheat.
There's a very famous idiom. Does anyone know the really famous idiom about?
Yes, the grain from the chaff.
Yeah, almost. Mustafa, say that again. Separate.
The grain from the chaff.
Yeah, but we don't say grain. Okay, we say the wheat from the chaff. But by grain, by wheat, we mean grain.
Grain.
Okay. So the chaff. What's the chaff, guys? What is the chaff?
Like inside the chaff is green.
Kind of the. Do we want the chaff? Do we want it? Can we eat?
It is together. The means,
It's normally together, but we take
yeah,
out the grain.
and you put the grain. You separated what is very necessary. The keys words. I think it gets more easy, but you get the answers.
Yeah, so you're taking it to the reading. I'm just staying just with this metaphor. Let's stay with the reality here, okay? the chaff is-
Sorry, Alan, what is we call for this? I mean, wheat, like a bunch, like what we use for?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good point, actually. What do we call that? A clove of wheat? No, maybe a bunch of. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay,
It's very nice. I love it.
but let's focus on this. Which one is the good one? Which one is the bad one here, guys?
Wheat for
Wheat is good.
Wheat is good, right?
Wheat is good, yeah.
And of course, the bad is
Chaff.
chaff. Bad is the chaff. Why is it bad? Because you can't eat it, right? The bread is made.
But you can give it to our animals.
animals, yeah.
You can feed animals. I suppose that's good in a way. So in terms of OET reading, in terms of simplifying the question, I'm sure you can all guess, why am I talking about wheat and chaff? Hussein, why am I talking about this?
Now you are because of simplifying the question, Stam. That's why you
We're trying to, what do we want in OET?
to take the main things or the good things from the
We want the wheat.
The wheat.
the wheat, yeah.
So when we look at a question, right? Let's do this in a simple way, right? Simple way. If I look at a question like, what does the nurse have to do tomorrow, right? I don't want the chaff. I want to remove the chaff, right? but I want to keep the wheat. How do I do that? Can anyone tell me, Ednea, how can I, what is the chaff here in this?
The chaff is it's something no good. You can take off and leave just for the wheat because it's this.
Okay,
It's
tell me,
good. You simplify and you get the answers.
Edna, I want you now to tell me specifically what is the chaff here?
What the nurse have to do
Just Edna.
tomorrow.
What do I not need here?
And what does
What does
the nurse should to be dressing the patient's legs.
Right, I'm starting to get lots of answers now, right? Okay, so in the exam, you need to have a systematic way of doing this. You need to have a good way of doing this. And I'm going to start off with an easy way, right? Some of you, maybe if you're not good at grammar, some people don't feel good at grammar, okay? We just want, what's the wheat here? The wheat is?
nurse?
It's nouns, it's verbs, and it is?
Adjectives.
Adjectives, okay? So we can kind of focus on the things that we want, the most important things, I suppose, nurse,
Do.
what does the nurse have? This is a verb as well, right?
Mhm.
And then we need to always keep the question words as well, okay? So this is a simple way to simplify it. It's just focus on nouns, verbs, adjectives, and WH words, okay? Is this a verb? Is that not a verb, though? It does.
Yeah.
But I don't need it, do I? Why do I not need that one? Anyone?
So being there.
It's like because look, it's like a question. For
Well-
example, I'm not sure. Maybe
The reason is, I'll explain in a minute, it's an auxiliary. We don't need it.
yes.
Okay? But guys, if sometimes people, they want a simple and easy way to do this. I'm saying focus on nouns, verbs, adjectives, and WH. Smaller words, you can just leave out. Okay? Do I need two? Probably I don't need two. Right?
Oh.
A good rule would be to remove smaller words like to, at, on, an, etc. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Remember, guys, I'm talking about the simple way. This is a way you can do this if you're not maybe that good at grammar. Okay, does this make sense to everyone here?
Oh yeah.
I suppose
Yeah,
we can
sure.
say bad is at, on, in, the. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah. But really, come on, we're all, you're all, doctors and nurses, educated people, and also you do grammar every day with Paul. So we have some people in this class who know a lot about grammar. So I'm going to also talk about now the complicated way. There's a more complicated way to do it, but it's better. It's more systematic. Okay. Some of you will have seen this before. There are certain word types which are chaff. Does that make sense, guys? There are certain types of words which are chaff. For example, what type of word is this?
Article.
Articles, okay? And usually in OET, that's going to be chaff, Andrea. What does chaff mean? What is the
Unnecessary. Bad
thing
things.
we don't want, right? Not the wheat, yeah? So we can remove certain word types. What else can we remove? Does anyone know the grammar of words we can remove?
Pronouns
Pronouns. Give me an example.
like that, this.
Articles.
Pronouns. Sometimes, I'm not sure about that. Sometimes.
Yes,
That,
preposition.
This means.
He.
Relative pronouns, but not.
Yeah, I mean
pronouns.
relatives. Yeah.
So he and she, you should never remove that. That's a pronoun. But a relative pronoun, what's a relative pronoun, guys?
That, this.
Yours.
Who, which.
Who, which.
We can usually remove these because you can get the meaning from the context. You don't actually need those words. Okay. What else can we remove? Does anyone know? Can you see my class?
Yes,
Preposition.
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 Now, Vandana, not all prepositions. Okay.
Yes.
For example, not about.
Yeah.
About is useful.
Yes.
And also for also, I think.
For, right? These ones often you need about and for. But things like at, guys, give me examples of preposition at.
Yes. To,
And
On and
on,
to,
on and
Right?
Above.
We can remove those safely when we're separating the wheat from the chaff, right? So we're like farmers. We're trying to get rid of we don't want the chaff because we can't eat it, all right? And we know that articles is chaff, relative pronouns usually chaff, prepositions usually chaff. What else is chaff? What else? Articles, relative pronouns, prepositions.
reference guest like email, memo.
Now,
And
reference
auxiliary
to the, no, right, we'll do that one last. Okay, Vandana, do you want to say, or was it Tayaba?
yes, auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary verbs. Now, does everyone here know what auxiliary verbs are? Are you all
Like
up?
does in this sentence.
I think some people will know, like you, Vandana, your grammar is very, very good, but I'm not sure if everyone will be totally clear on what an auxiliary verb is. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly explain verbs to you. It's really simple. Okay, so let's just make a very simple diagram here. I'll make this a bit thinner, no spacing. Okay, guys.
I think not all of auxiliary. I think the primary auxiliaries.
Right, just wait 1 second, please, if that's okay. All right, guys, we have normal verbs and there are two types of verbs in English, normal and auxiliary, right? Now, Wasana, can you say hello? We haven't spoken for a while, Wasana. It'd be nice to talk to you if you're there. Or Sarmila or Sapna, can you put your microphone on?
Yes.
So Sarmila,
Yes.
Sarmila and Sapna. So what does auxiliary mean? I think Paul maybe haven't mentioned in his class, if you remember. What does auxiliary?
That as a verb.
It doesn't mean verb. That's not the direct meaning. It means
helping word.
helper.
Helping verb.
Okay, so that's the key thing here. That's the key idea. With auxiliary, it means helping. There's two types of auxiliaries. Do you know? Sajid, Saha, Safaitao? There's two types of auxiliary verbs. All right, what about normal verbs? There's two types of normal verbs. This is the way that I'm doing this. We have
Regular, irregular.
irregular. Okay. Give me an example of a regular verb, Andrea, or Nadia.
Eat, ate, eaten.
Is that regular?
Irregular.
Okay, so eat, ate, eaten. Why is it irregular? What does that mean, irregular?
Has three forms, different forms.
Change.
Past
The
tense.
form is change.
But regular means always with ed, right?
Mhm.
Can anyone
Play,
give- can anyone
play,
give an
work.
Help.
Walk.
Help.
played, walked, right?
Put.
So we say play, played, played. Okay. These are normal verbs, or what's sometimes called lexical verbs. These are lexical because they're real. They show you something. They tell you something about what's happening. Does that make sense? They're telling you, I bought a car. What's happening? Bought. He's buying a car. They give you actions and states, right? They give you actions and states of affairs, okay? But we're not really interested in those. We're interested in auxiliary verbs.
Ordinating or subordinating?
There's two types. Bracket, a second. Nilofar, can you put your microphone on? And Mercy.
Yes, sir.
Nilofar, do you know the two types of auxiliary verbs? I'll give you one begins with N and one begins with P. Guys, can we help her?
Modal.
Modals.
Modal auxiliary.
Modal auxiliary, right? It's called modal auxiliary. And examples are, everyone? Will,
Well, can,
Can.
Can, could,
Could.
could,
can, could,
must.
should,
should.
Should.
Now, You should never remove modal auxiliary verbs. These are not chaff. These are wheat. They're very important. They're good. But you can remove these ones, guys, primary auxiliaries. Okay. There's only 3 primary auxiliaries. Mohammed, do you know what they are? Mercy, Mariam, do you know?
Do, be, have,
Be,
Have.
right?
have.
These 3 primary auxiliaries, why do we use them? No.
Make questions.
We use them to make questions. Yeah. Why else?
You are helping
Help
one
the verb.
Like to negative.
We can use them in the negative, right? In present simple, you need do in the negative.
Statements.
Guys, we use these they create the tenses. That makes sense. Look. I eat an apple. What tense is that? I eat an
Present
apple.
simple.
Present simple.
Okay, what if I say I have
Present
eaten?
perfect. Present perfect.
So I'm using the auxiliary verb to create present perfect, right? They create the tenses. Now, this is not a grammar class. What I'm trying to say is we can remove primary auxiliary verbs from our questions. Does that make sense, guys?
Hello.
What is this, everyone? What's that? Does.
Auxiliary.
It's a primary
Primary auxiliary.
auxiliary verb. Okay, so you don't need it when you're simplifying your question. You don't need auxiliary verbs. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay,
Yes.
so we're gonna practice this in a second. Don't worry, we'll practice this. But coming back to this then, so articles, relative pronouns, prepositions, primary auxiliary verbs. Is there anything else we can remove? What else can we remove? Barak, she already said it. She said
Reference gets through like email, memo.
So, for example, guys, if it says in the memo, right, nurses should try. Do I need that in my question, or can I remove?
No. We can
No.
remove.
You're saying no. We can usually remove a reference to the text. This is reading part B. Okay, we can usually remove that, unless do not remove this when it is
Subject.
it is subject. So let me give you an example here. I'll show you an example in a minute. Okay. Don't worry, guys. I will explain this more shortly. I'll explain that. But just to zoom out, okay? If you're not very good at grammar, or you're just beginning with your grammar, the simple way is just to focus on nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Okay? Focus on what is important in the question. Just take away the chaff. If you're good at grammar, if you want us to do this in a systematic way, remove articles, relative pronouns, prepositions, primary auxiliary verbs, and references to the text. Okay. Now let's do this together. Let me show you. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So here's a question. What can specialists learn from this memo? Can everyone see this here? What can specialists learn from this memo? Mustafa, could you put your microphone on, please, sir? It's okay, Mustafa, or we could try maybe Kanku, Kai, Jenny, one of you guys.
Hello.
Hey there, Kanku.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a bit of a bad connection. Don't worry, though. Is there a primary auxiliary verb here? Oh, actually,
No. No. There is a model.
The modal, so we should not remove that, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there anything I can remove here? Is there any prepositions?
What?
Yes, you can remove what?
No.
From.
You don't need to remove what.
No.
Did we say?
But you
Remove
can
what?
remove this.
Actually, we said what is. We said
We need
what
to leave
is-
what there.
Yeah,
No
we need
move.
to leave what?
So what can we remove here? What can specialists learn from this memo? Is there a reference to the text?
From this memo.
Is that a reference to the text, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So can I remove it?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, because in reading part B, you can see the text. The text is here. below the question. So we can remove memo. What about this preposition? Do I need this preposition?
No.
No, you don't need it.
So what can specialists learn? That's the question. Okay. Now, Isaac, can you come, please? Or Jenny, if you can put your microphone on.
Yes, sir.
The protocol encourages nurses in the wards too. Okay. Why? What's the difference, Isaac, between this one and this one? Do you see? There's a very big difference here between this and this. What's the difference?
That the first one is simplified and the second one not simplified.
Oh, true, this one is simplified, but look at this. This is here. What's the difference, Isaac?
The question.
Yeah, it's a
It's
question.
kind of just really
This is not a question, is it, guys? This is a statement.
The same.
Sometimes the stem will be a statement. What do we do when there's a statement like this? It's not a question. What do we put at the end?
What?
What? Just put what here. Don't mess around. Don't put it at the start. It's too complicated to put it at the start. Okay, so just think what at the end. Now, are there any articles, guys? Can I remove the articles here? Where's the articles? Everyone.
The.
there.
The
Chaff now, isn't it? This is chaff. This is not wheat. We don't need it. So protocol encourages nurses in wards to what? Anything else I can remove?
In and to.
Yeah, this preposition here is part of the infinitive actually, but we can remove that. Okay. So again, we're simplifying the question. This is the simplified question now. Okay. Let's try Alexia or let's try Bayan. Can you say hello?
Hello. Yes, Ellen.
What should decide whether or not to proceed with the procedure? Can you find any words here that I don't need? Any articles? Articles.
Or
Article. Guys, are there any articles? So what should decide whether or not to proceed? Now, can I remove any of this? Is this a preposition? Is that a preposition? No,
Yes.
it's not a preposition.
Yes, it's a preposition.
This is a conjunction. Well, give me examples of conjunctions, guys. What are conjunctions?
And.
Part and.
But, or.
Oh.
Can we remove them?
And. But.
Can we remove them? I don't think so.
No.
No.
When it comes to conjunctions, it's the wheat. It's good stuff. We need it. It's not chaff. Okay. So actually, we cannot really, this is a long question. There's not many things we can remove. Yes.
Can we replace whether or not with if?
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yes.
clever. I like that. So does everyone understand what she's doing here? Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to mentally try and think, oh, well, that means if, right? Do I need this to here, guys? No.
No.
Do I need with?
No.
No. Okay. So now my question is, what should decide if proceed procedure? Okay. So what is deciding if proceed procedure? It's terrible grammar. Terrible.
It's because I don't understand the question. If it's like that, I'm not gonna make up one.
Well, if you don't, Alexia, thank you. Guys, if you're taking away so much that you don't understand it, then that's terrible. Put something back in, Alexia, okay? Don't take it away so much that you cannot understand it. Remember, why are we simplifying? So we can understand the question.
So we can understand it.
So don't go crazy with it. If you want to, for example, maybe with is good here. Because prepositions, sometimes it's better with prepositions, okay? Okay, what about this one? What does the extract from the protocols discuss? What does the extract from the protocols discuss? What can I remove, everyone? Can I remove here?
Those destructive.
Is there an auxiliary? Is there a primary auxiliary here?
does.
Yes.
Does.
Don't need it. Okay.
The.
Is there an article?
Remove.
What extract?
From the.
Live is
The
Do I need new protocols?
No.
Why not? Why do I not need?
Yes, you need it.
already we
because
have
it
the
is-
protocol
Listen,
there.
listen, guys. Yeah, it's okay. If
Imagine,
it's
imagine.
not-
Okay, so in the exam, you're going to have here a text, right? And
Yeah.
what does extract mean?
Extract mean the question that
Transcript.
It's text.
The meaning of the
Text, yeah.
And then here it says new protocols.
If
Yes,
to
because it
mention
is
no need
new.
to.
You
Need that.
remove what you discuss.
Yeah. Guys, the question is simply what extract discuss?
Yeah.
So look, I know this is tricky. You have to practice this a little bit. We're going to practice this today, but there's two ways you can proceed this. There's the easy way, which is just focusing on, use your brain, use your common sense, focus on nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And yes, question words are very good, okay? Or if you want to really do some study, you can try to think, okay, I'm going to remove only specific word types. Okay, if your grammar is good, you should be able to do that quickly. All right, now let's practice this. We're going to practice together. All right, and now we're going to start something real. Okay, so it's the same thing, same